Hi there, MilPM. Here we are, day one of our lockdown. I'm coming to you from my own home here, my little paradise, and my place of work for the next 21 days. This is an unprecedented time in the history of our world. I read yesterday, statistically, there's about 1/3 of the world's population that have been asked to go into their homes. 1/3, about 2.5 billion people are in lockdown with you today. It's a remarkable time. It's a time that I think many of our children and the generations to come will be reading about in their history classes in the years to come. It was interesting to watch after the president's announcement on Monday how many of us scrambled to the shops to grab some of our last minute essentials before we had to shut ourselves in behind our gates and behind our doors. And a number of retailers took advantage. They realized that they needed to make sales in the next 3 days that would make up for the 3 weeks that they would be closed. And a number of retailers slashed their prices to 50% sales, 75% sales. There was one shop or one type of shop that really didn't need to slash their sales, and those were the bottle stores. It was amazing to see how South Africans just scrambled and queued at the thought of going into a 21-day lockdown without their gin and tonic or without their glass of red. South Africans were desperate to make sure that they got their supply of alcohol before we went into our lockdown. It was quite a remarkable thing to observe what we prioritize and what we place an emphasis on. I wonder if I could ask you today, what is a thing that you would have taken with you into this lockdown period? What would you have scrambled to grab a hold of that you would not go without over these next 21 days as you shut yourself into your home? God asks the people to move away from Mount Sinai in Exodus 33. And Moses says, he says, this thing I need more than anything else. In Exodus chapter 33, he says, Lord, if you do not go with us, if we do not have your presence, we will not go. And I want to encourage you that what you need more than anything else in these next 21 days is the presence of God. And the good news is that if you haven't already gone out after the presence of God, and even though you've had to lock your gates, it's not too late. The presence of God doesn't come from a shop. The presence of God is available to you wherever you are. And isn't it amazing? We've been speaking so much at MilPM over the last, say, 2.5 years about just the habit of being in Jesus' presence. Just the importance of silence and solitude, study, prayer, meditation, simplicity, simplifying our lives. And here we are with this enforced shutdown period where it seems like everything else has been cancelled around us, with this amazing opportunity to find the presence of God. I want to encourage you guys to make the most of this time, to seek the Lord. I also want to encourage you to be praying for our nation and to be praying for the world, for the global world. It's incredible when we watch some of the statistics. Here in South Africa, we almost up to 1,000 people who've been diagnosed with the coronavirus. But in other nations that have been more severely hit, in Italy, they've been averaging around 700 fatalities a day. The health system there just cannot cope. And I think over the last few days, we've been very self-centered. We've been shopping for things that we need, and it's been very easy to just focus on ourselves. We're going to be locked down at home, and we don't want to be lonely, and we want to make sure we're with family, and so let's make sure we travel and, get to where we need to be for the next 21 days. But hopefully we don't lose sight of what's actually going on in the world around us and the incredible need. And here in our nation, the people who are most vulnerable are the elderly and the poor. And really, we just see in the scriptures what a priority God places on those groups of people. I want to encourage you to be praying and interceding for our nation and for the many vulnerable people around the world. Maybe be inspired by some of the intercessionary prayers in scripture, the prayers that Abraham prayed, the prayers that Moses prayed, interceding for the nation of Israel, the prayers that Samuel prayed, interceding for the nation of Israel. And let's find ourselves interceding before God for his intervention for many of the vulnerable people. And then let's also be praying for our economy. Many of you are going to be impacted by the economic downturn that is bound to happen. But many of us at MilPM are relatively young. We're starting out our careers, and we got a lot of time to bounce back. We also, a lot of us have access to resources that can hold us through a period like this. once again, there are many people that don't have those kind of privileges that we have. And let's just have our hearts bleeding in the place of prayer for the many, many people in our nation who are going to be financially impacted by these next 3 weeks of shutdown and the longer lasting impacts that this will have on our economy. So, guys, seek the presence of God. The presence of God is way more important than your craft beer, more important than your glass of red. Find Jesus in these next 21 days. And let's be praying and interceding for all of those around us who are in desperate, desperate need. So much love to you. I'll be in touch again on Sunday. And love you guys dearly. And wherever you are, keep safe and find yourself in the love of God. Cheers from me.